So you just finished a book that felt life-changing. You highlighted half of it. You nodded at every other page. Fast forward a week. You barely remember anything from the book. But by then, you're already halfway through a new one. Plus a few podcasts, a couple YouTube videos, a blog post or two. Information keeps piling up, but nothing is sticking. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today, consuming information has become a badge of honor. 52 books a year, 10 videos a day. The truth is, it's not about how much you read. It's about what you actually apply. Because if you read 100 books this year, and your life looks exactly the same as last year, what was the point? Hi, I'm Steven, founder of Personal Power-Ups. In this video, you'll learn why your brain throws out most of what you read, why more is not necessarily better, and how to actually remember and apply the ideas that matter. There's something that looks like growth, but often isn't: consuming tons of information. Truly, we live in the age of information gluttony. Podcasts on your commute, audiobooks at the gym, a dozen YouTube videos before bed. It feels productive, but it's actually a trap. You're consuming way more than your brain can realistically process. Most of us aren't really learning, we're hoarding content. And almost all of it is passive. That's a problem. Passive consumption doesn't lead to transformation. Just like watching a cooking show doesn't make you a chef. Reading a book doesn't make you smarter, unless you engage with it. Here's the difference. Intentional learning is when you engage with an idea because it matters right now. You reflect on it. You write about it, you look for ways to apply it. Constant consumption is when you absorb content just because it's there. It's a habit like scrolling. And it's background noise disguised as education. When you're always filling your head with new stuff, you never give your brain the chance to process what is already heard. This creates what I call the illusion of progress. You feel like you're growing because you're absorbing tons of content. But your behavior, your habits, your results, they're staying exactly the same. It's like watching YouTube videos on the perfect workout routine, reading tons of blog posts about working out, but never picking up a weight yourself. You feel smarter, but nothing's actually changing. There's also a fear behind this kind of overconsumption. It's the fear of missing out on the one idea that's finally going to change everything. So we keep reading, keep listening, keep watching, searching for the magic bullet. But you don't necessarily need more information. You need to start using what you already know. One idea, deeply understood and consistently applied, is more powerful than 100 ideas you forget. So the next time you feel that urge to open another book or queue up another video, ask yourself, am I consuming this because it's useful or because I'm avoiding the discomfort of action? That moment of honesty, that's where real growth begins. Alright, let's get into why your brain just can't seem to hold onto all that good stuff you're reading. To put it simply, your brain is not a sponge. It doesn't absorb and hold everything you throw at it. It's more like a filter. It's constantly asking, is this important? Should I keep this? If the answer is no, that information gets tossed, poof, gone, just like that. So what tells your brain that something is important? Relevance, emotion, and repetition. If it's not any of those things, your brain says, thanks for the TED Talk, and tosses it straight in the mental recycling bin. So let's break down these three criteria. First, relevance. Your brain asks, do I need this right now? If the answer is no, it gets filed under interesting but useless and tossed out to make room for more immediate stuff. This is why you might remember a random survival tip if you're lost in the woods, but completely forget the 5 productivity hacks from the podcast you listened to while scrolling Instagram. If the info doesn't connect to your life today, your brain doesn't prioritize it. Second, emotion. Emotion is the glue that makes ideas stick. Think about the stuff you do remember. A conversation that made you feel something. A quote that hit you in the gut, or a story that gave you goosebumps. When something hits you emotionally, it sticks. Inspiration, anger, surprise, strong feelings create mental highlights. That's why one line from a book can stay with you for years, even if you forget the rest of the chapter. And third, repetition. Our brains are wired to remember what shows up again and again. That's why repetition is the foundation of all learning. School, language, skill building, it all runs in loops. But here's the problem in today's learning culture. We rarely repeat anything. Read a book once, move on. Watch a video once, scroll past. Hear a podcast, never revisit it. We don't capture the important stuff like notes that we revisit regularly. And then we wonder, why can't I remember anything? Because your brain doesn't see a reason to. It's flooded with novelty, new content, new dopamine, new distractions. And if you're constantly feeding it new input, it never has time to digest the old. So if you're reading and forgetting, you're not broken. Your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Prioritize what matters and forget the rest. The trick is learning how to signal to your brain what matters. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in the next section. So how do you fix this? Here's the shift. You stop trying to read more and start focusing on getting more out of what you read. Here are 3 practical ways to do just that. Step 1. Slow down. Next time you finish a chapter or even just a single paragraph that hits you, stop and ask yourself, how can I apply this in my life? Where can I test this out today? What would it look like to actually live this idea? After all, the goal isn't to finish the book faster. The goal is to change your behavior. Let's say you read about the importance of focused deep work. Rather than just nodding along and flipping the page, stop and ask yourself, where in my life am I multitasking too much? What's one task today I can give my full attention to? This micro-reflection helps you internalize the lesson and start living it. Step 2. Teach it. The fastest way to remember something is to teach it to yourself or someone else. It forces you to organize your thoughts and spot any gaps. So try this. Summarize what you read in a voice memo, or write a 1-paragraph takeaway in your journal. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to re-articulate the idea in a way that makes sense to you. So think of yourself as a translator, not a parrot. You're not just repeating what you heard, you're making it your own. Step 3. Create before you consume more. Instead of constantly taking in new stuff, give yourself time to produce something. It could be writing notes on something you learned, trying out a habit you just read about, or recording a voice memo of your biggest takeaway. We're trained to take in content non-stop, but real learning happens when you produce, not just consume. And it creates a powerful feedback loop. You apply what you learn, you see results, you remember it, you want to keep learning more. So here's the bottom line. You don't need to remember everything you read. You just need to remember and apply the right things. And when you slow down, teach what you learn, and create before you consume, you go from being a passive collector of information to a creator of change. If knowledge alone changed lives, we'd all be billionaires with six-packs and perfect routines. But here we are, forgetting the name of the book we said changed our life last Tuesday. So here's your new strategy. Less hoarding, more doing. After all, growth comes from action, from testing ideas, from living them. So the next time you're tempted to breeze through another book, stop and ask, what's one idea I can try today? I'd love to hear from you, so drop a comment with one idea you've actually applied from something you read recently. And if you're ready to boost your personal growth, hit a subscribe button so you never miss a new power-up. Thanks for watching and see you next time.